Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuouki Zuisoroku, the fan disc material or the extras added to the PS3 version of the game. Today we are on our last video with Chikage Kazama. Unfortunately, because they didn't give him as much stuff as they did the other guys. But hopefully this will be after the ending that he got in the main story, because I really didn't like the way they ended that. We never even actually got together. So crossing my fingers here. You all can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Memories of Love, Kazama 5. January 1870. After seeing the fate of the Shinsengumi, the protagonist returns to her old home in Eizo and sets up shop as a doctor, but finds she is unable to get Kazama out of her mind. Then, just as she is thinking back to her time with him, someone appears on her doorstep. Hooray! It's just what I wanted! Oh, that was sad.
They were bullheaded fools who threw away their lives rather than compromising their beliefs. Still, I cannot seem to hate them for it.
Instead, he respected their honor. A torn and damaged flag had been left behind on the ravaged battlefield. I held it to my chest and sobbed. Whether I was sad or simply in pain, I couldn't say. I didn't know how long I knelt there crying, but in time I looked up. That was when Kazama spoke. When he gazed down at me, I felt something well up in my heart that I couldn't explain. I'm not exactly sure what it would have been at that point either. August 1869. I finally stepped off the boat and onto the dry land of Eizo. Here, the men of the Shinsengumi had fought their last battle as warriors. The people I had been following for so long were gone. All I saw before me was a silent, empty ending. But I could feel somehow that this demise was something that they had chosen. So though my tears flowed freely, in my heart I understood and accepted their fate. Kazama had told me that he would be returning to the west, and that it was time for us to part ways. When I was ready, he said I should come to him, and with that he left. Surprisingly, he's not dragging us along. December 1869. I had returned to Edo, and was preparing to welcome in the new year by myself. Even though a cold wind blew occasionally through the streets, it was a quiet, solemn day. Wonder whatever happened to Dr. Matsumoto. Memories of Love, Part 5. Look at him in that gorgeous kimono. January 1870. It's so cold. Well, yeah, it's New Year's. I had busied myself sweeping the walkway in front of my house, and my breath puffed out in white clouds. Everyone who passed was moving at a brisk pace, their cheeks red from the cold. All over the city, people were preparing for New Year's Eve. Everyone's going home to their families. I shouldn't be getting any patients tonight then. After returning from Eizo, I took over the clinic my father had left behind. Do I have enough medical knowledge for that, really? Although I'd assisted my father when we lived together, I never had any official instruction in the healing arts. Then, aren't I a charlatan? Isn't this dangerous? To make up for my lack of knowledge, I had begun poring over my father's books during every free moment I had. I'd read everything in the house, from Kaitai Shinsho to my father's own handwritten notes. I know quite a bit now, but there's still a lot for me to learn. A month or so previous, I had finally felt comfortable opening up the clinic to patients. Alright, so after some self-study at least. Some of my father's old clients had been willing to come back, and I'd attracted new ones as well. With my pretty face? My days were busy, and my work was rarely easy, but perhaps that's best. It keeps me from thinking about other things. Besides, helping people makes me happy. What I left unsaid was that I had failed the people I most wanted to help. I stared down at my palms. I wasn't sure how long I stood there, lost in thought, before a passerby called out to me. Oh, hello, Chizuru. Thank you so much for taking care of my son when he got sick the other day. Oh, it was no problem at all. How's he feeling? Much better now, thanks to you. But, are you spending New Year's by yourself? Yes, my father passed away, so it's just me here. It's not safe for a young lady to live alone, you know. Even though the war has ended, the world is still a dangerous place. Okay. What do you suggest exactly? Besides, isn't it hard for you to run this practice all by yourself? Oh, I know. I can find someone nice for you. In fact, a new medicine wholesaler just opened up near the bridges, and his son. Maybe another time. I don't need matchmaking right now. I smiled and said goodbye, and the woman walked off with a bit of a frown. It's nice for her to be worried, but Nice man, huh? I kinda got somebody on my brain. There wasn't time for that, though. I had my hands quite full with my practice. Though, if there was an exception... him.
That's proof that we're no longer strangers.
Wonderful proof. I shook my head in a desperate attempt to clear it. What am I thinking? As I recalled the circumstances under which I'd heard those words, I began to blush furiously. It's not like I hate him or anything, but after I was separated from the Shinsengumi, he had helped me along. When I lost my father, he had been concerned for me. And when I had finally seen the end of the Shinsengumi, he had paid his respects to them in his own way. But he's also spoiled and bullheaded and arrogant. I don't hate him. Still, I guess it's been a while since I saw him. You miss him. We had parted ways 6 months ago, before in Eizo, on the day we saw the final battlefield of the Shinsengumi. He told me that when I was ready, I should come find him. I wonder if he's forgotten about all of that already. The moment the words were out of my mouth, I felt oddly lonely. I let my eyes fall closed. When suddenly... When I shut my eyes, I could see him clearly, as if he were standing right in front of me. He probably is. Where was he now? Probably right in front of you. He'd said he would go to the west, but the west was large. Yeah, I was wondering that. I'm like, how's she gonna find him exactly? Just start heading west? Go west, young man. How was I supposed to go to him if I didn't know where he was? He didn't really think that through, did he? Nope, not at all. I'd been too stunned to say anything when it happened, but I found myself wishing that I could tell him how frustrating that was. Kazama, you did a terrible job. Oh, there we go. Ooh, what? His hair even changed a little bit. It got a tiny bit shorter. Oh god, look at that. That's so gorgeous on him. Huh? When I opened my eyes, the image of him didn't disappear. Just like I said, right in front of you. I reached out with a tentative finger to touch his face and experimentally pushed his cheek up into a sort of snarl. I want to see that. I've angered him.
What on earth are you doing?
I can't stop laughing to read the lines. It's too hard to read his voice. Trying to stop laughing.
Please tell me that is not a new fashionable greeting in Edo.
He wasn't supposed to be there, and yet I could feel him, and he was talking. What? Why was he there? What had he been doing for the last 6 months? There was so much I wanted to ask him, but my mouth refused to work.
I've come for you.
He let out a long sigh.
I waited.
Waited where? What?
I waited a very long time.
What are you talking about?
Do you intend to make me wait even longer? Who do you think you are?
Right back at ya. I waited too. Because I didn't know where in the West you were. What kind of question is that? My mind had finally recovered, and as it did, I found I was angry. You just kissed me out of nowhere. And then, before I could say anything, you just walked off. You didn't even tell me where you were going. All of the feelings I'd kept bottled up for 6 months suddenly came pouring out. I hadn't wanted to yell at him, but when the moment had come to be honest, I couldn't bring myself to do it. I watched as Kazama's eyes thinned in amusement. Well, at least he's not mad anymore.
Oh, so you did miss me.
Yes, I did. Look at that. I can't stop looking at him in that kimono. It's so gorgeous on him. I didn't say... But before I could continue, he stopped me. With a kiss? He moved so quickly. Please? Before I knew what was happening, he had reached out and drawn me up close to him. Huh. Well, not the kiss yet, but it'll turn into one. What are you doing?
I think you know. A demon always keeps his promises. I told you this many times. I have come to retrieve you, just as I said I would, that's all.
I tried to move, but my body refused to cooperate. He was so close. His eyes were looking into mine from mere inches away. I felt heat rise to my face as I remembered our last kiss. And you're about to have your second.
This time you will be coming with me.
happily.
The demons of the West are prepared to go into hiding. You are the only loose end remaining. Come along.
Wait, hold on. This is all so sudden.
It's nothing of the sort. I've been waiting for 6 months, and I'll wait no longer. No, not just 6 months. That discounts the significant length of time where I allowed you to remain in the Shinsengumi's custody.
He was hopeless. He actually kind of did make quite a few concessions for her throughout along the way. I haven't seen you in half a year, but it seems like you haven't changed at all. You only think about yourself. You never listen to what people say, and... I trailed off. Had he even noticed that I'd stopped? After all this time, Kazama was the only thing in my life that hadn't changed. Somehow that was comforting. Had he realized that? I saw his mouth twitch into a grin for a split second.
Don't you think that makes us a perfect match? You may be stubborn, but I can force you to admit the things you're too shy to say out loud.
He pulled me closer.
I've known your true feelings for some time now.
Closer, as if he was feeling in the space between us. We were pressed up against one another's bodies. There we go. Just as before, his kiss came without regard for my own wants. Yet you seem to be blushing happily. But my lips cared little for what was going on in my head and gave themselves over to enjoying the kiss. My lips aren't listening to me. As if they had been waiting 6 months for this. Only my lips have been longing for Kazama, not the rest of me. My whole body surrendered to the moment, determined to relish him as much as I could. But one of the faded echoes of reason that had been pushed into the shadows shouted loud enough to be heard, and with a muffled yelp, I pushed him away from me. Oh, come on, Chizuru! Why? What are you...
Is that not obvious?
What if the neighbor saw us? Who cares? I'd be too embarrassed to leave the house. Well, he's taking you away anyway.
I fail to see the problem. You're about to leave for the West with me. What does it matter if the neighbors see? In any event, I'm tired from my travels. I would like to rest. For the time being, I suppose you may let my presence grace your house.
Why, thank you, your majesty. As he turned to walk in, I rubbed an exasperated hand across my forehead. Fine, come in. I suppose I can make you some tea. About you taking me out west, though, that seems like a pretty important thing. Maybe we should take it slow. Like, go on a date first?
My point is there on that. We already know what's going to happen. Still, I suppose there are worse ways to waste my time.
With that, he took my hand. I watched his back as we walked slowly toward the door. I spent so much time doing the same thing as we'd made our way from the battlefields of Kyoto all the way to Eizo. But no matter how much I'd run, the Shinsengumi had remained just out of reach. Would Kazama stay, walking tall and proud in front of me, for years to come? I hope so. Or would he leave me behind too? Or perhaps I could trust my heart to him. This coldness of the day seemed to disappear as I softly squeezed his hand. Oh, it was so nice to actually meet with him and get with him in the end, but still, I want more. At least we got another kiss. But come on, I want, some cuddle scenes like we did with everybody else. God, why can't they give us more with Kazama? So many people love him. Why won't they give us more for him? Well, the next character we will be pursuing is Hajime Saito. After that will be Heisuke Todo. And then there are extra scenes for other characters too. So we'll be reading Nagakura's, Kondo's, and Yamazaki's extra scenes. Oh, and Sanan too. And there are short little scenes for Inoue, Shimada, Kimigiku, Amagiri, Shiranui. Man, there are a lot of extra scenes. And even Kaoru. So yeah, we'll be getting to all of those. Don't know how long they'll be. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to read Kazama's letter. He's like a man of few words. What in the world is he going to write? I imagine 2 sentences. Here we go.
I suppose I might as well write to you, Chizuru. I am personally taking time out of my day to write to you, because there is much you do not yet understand. So, I hope you will be properly thankful and read this thoroughly.
Yes, I will.
The humans going to war with one another did not interest me, but the discovery of a rare demon woman did.
What, he knew about me before he came out here?
When I went to welcome you, however, you declared your allegiance to the humans and refused to depart with me. You spent your entire life believing you were human and unaware of your true nature, so perhaps that was to be expected. But I cannot understand how you thought living among them and dressing as a man would have meant a better life. In fact, there is a great deal about you I do not understand. But, I confess, that is what makes you so interesting. Each time we met, we came to blows with the Shinsengumi, but every time you stood firm. Perhaps it was because you had faith in them, but what concerned me was that you seemed disturbed by the power of a demon. I've no doubt I will never have any love for humans as a species. The Shinsengumi, however, I will at least remember as those rare members of their race with a conviction to stand their ground. I doubt you will ever forget them. When I am with you, I can see that in your eyes. I have to wonder, though, Chizuru, were you born this stubborn?
Yes, I think so.
I commend you for not surrendering to fear during battle, but I am significantly less impressed with your indefatigable bullheadedness. Then again, perhaps you only need time to come to your senses, in which case I can be lenient. After all, we are demons. We have an abundance of time. You may not understand me now, but you will. Once you and I have departed, the demons of the West will never be seen by humans again. Our lives will be peaceful, without the distraction and unpleasantness of bloody war, entertaining though it might be. With you by my side, however, I do not doubt that I will never suffer boredom. You are mine and only mine. In my arms you will show me every part of your soul. For the rest of eternity, the only person I shall allow by my side will be you, Chizuru. Do not forget that.
I won't.
I look forward to seeing your reaction when you finish this letter.
Well, that was a surprise. I really was half expecting, 2 sentences. But, yep, all that arrogance was still in there. Oh, I love you, Kazama. And sadly, that's it for him for now. As I said, tune in tomorrow for the next episode, which will be starting with Hajime Saito. Hope to see you there or in some of my other videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye, everybody.